Hi everybody, I'm Corinne Blackstone and welcome to my craft room. I'm so excited to have you here. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe to my channel here. That will make you part of my crafty family here on YouTube and you won't miss out on any of the fun crafty things that we do here. Now I know you guys can see this beautiful rainbow of cups in front of me and we are going to show you how to make a full wrap on one of these cups. We're actually going to use two different sizes. We're going to use a 24 ounce and a 16 ounce. These cups are from Ariels Trove. Check down in the video's description for a coupon code that she has so kindly offered to all of you guys so that you can order some cups from her. This is the Mommy and Me 80s set and I'm obsessed with this. It is so bright and so colorful. These cups are really high quality, super glittery, and as you can see, super bright. I'm going to show you how to make a cute Mama and Minnie cup set and we're going to do a full wrap on that. Look at how fun. And we didn't do anything as far as warping the image. We did this all in Cricut Design Space. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to really make your own full wrap using kind of a pattern rather than having to wrap it all at once. It's really fun and really easy. We're going to be using some teckwrap vinyl. I'll link everything that we're using down in the description below so that you can easily find it. Just make sure to click the little down arrow under the video to expand that so that you can see all the information and links. Let's get started. I cannot wait to show you guys how to do this.
Whatever we do it just for fun.
The cups we're using in today's tutorial came from Ariels Trove. She did send these to me, so thank you so much. But they are really nice cups, and you guys know that I try to be super honest with you. If I don't like something, I'm not going to use it, and these cups are really good quality. She's got a bunch of different styles, which I love. The Botanical Vibes ones are very pretty. We have LA Vibes. There's a Halloween set. She also makes ready-to-ship tumblers, and then there's one she calls Retro Vibes. But what we're working with are the 80s neon vibes, and I have the Mommy and Me bundles. So I have a 16 ounce and a 24 ounce cup. So we're going to make a Mommy and Me set. And I'm going to show you guys how to make like a faux full wrap if you don't actually know how to make a wrap or you can't make the wrap because you don't have the right software. So we're going to head over to Cricut Design Space and we're going to cut out some things to use with our cups and then we can get started. Here in Cricut Design Space, we are going to start with our designs and make our images so we can put them on our cups. So we're going to do a Mommy and Me set. So I measured my cups for about the size of the decals that I can fit. So on the larger 24 ounce cup, I can fit a 6x3 without it being too big. And on the smaller 16 ounce, I can fit a 4x2.5 without it being too big. So what I want to do is I'm going to first open up a shape and I'm going to use a square. Now at this point, I don't necessarily care what size the square is because we are actually going to slice the square down. So what I need to do is I'm going to duplicate the square. Now I just want to make the square just a little bit smaller than the square that is above it because this is going to be a border that's going to cut out for us. So I think that looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do is select both items, click Align, and I want to center them. Then all I need to do is go to the bottom of my layers panel and click the word slice. That's going to give us this really nice square border that we can use with our cups. So you see we have this square border. Now the problem being is if we resize this border, do you see how wide that border gets? So what I want to do is I want to keep it pretty small because this one's going to be the one that's going to go on our mom cup. So I actually want to make it about 2.5-ish. So what I'm going to do is take the two that I kind of sliced out and I'm going to make them a little bit smaller again. And I'm going to center them. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and select them, click Align and click Center, and then slice this. And this one's going to be for the mini cup. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and move these out of the way. We no longer need these squares, so you can just get rid of them. And what I'm going to do is size this one down a little bit. So remember, I can't go more than about 2.5 on the mini one. So I'm going to go a little bit smaller than the mom one. So you can see that it's a little bit smaller, not a ton, but we do want to make it a little bit smaller. So what I'm going to do now is open up some text and I'm going to do Mama in one, and you can do whatever you want in these, and we'll do Minnie in another. But what I want to do is I'm going to kind of just place this in here so I can get a visual. I'm going to go into my fonts and I'm going to go into my system fonts And what I want to do is find a font that I like the style of for inside of my image here. So inside of my square. Now I know I do want to do something that's a little bit blocky and thinner. I don't want anything that's too swirly or crazy. Something like this is going to be a little bit tough because you can see the sizing of it. It's a little bit weird even if we were to size the space between the lines down. It's a little bit strangely sized. So you may need to play with this for a minute and find the right font that's really going to work for you. Like this is perfect. I love this. I think it's going to work. We're going to change our line spacing down to like -6 just to get it kind of going and figure out where we want it. And then from here, you can kind of move it. You can also just simply do advanced and ungroup it to lines. It's really up to you and how you want to do it. I kind of just play around with it, but I want these to be really pretty close together. So what I'm going to do is get them really, really close. And then I want to select both of the words. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing where I am going to align them and I just want to center them. Then I'm going to size them down so they fit within our square. And we're probably going to do some stretching. So if you want to stretch these out, use this little unlock button. And then all you have to do is just kind of stretch it out around and see how big you want it to be. Now, again, choose whatever font you want. This is up to you and the way you want it to look. But I think that looks pretty good. So I like that. I'm going to keep that. So then I want to do the mini one. So I'm just going to do M-I-N-I. And that's going to be the one for our smaller square over here. So again, we can just advanced ungroup to lines. And then we can move the N-I closer. And again, you want to move it as close as you can or however close you really want it to be. Select both of them, and again, I'm just going to align them, and I want to center them horizontally. Then I'm going to go ahead and slide them into my square, make them as long as I want them, and then I'm going to change the width on them. Now, these might be a little bit weird with the eye, and I will say sometimes this doesn't always want to unlock. Sometimes it's a little bit weird. See how it's not letting me click the unlock? If that's happening, try clicking attach. And then try going in and clicking unlock. If it's still not working very well, you may just need to move it off of the square completely. And sometimes it'll let you unlock from there. But if it's still really giving you a lot of trouble, sometimes it's just best to click save and save your image and your design. So I'm going to save this as Mama Mini and just click save. That way if anything happens, it's saved. Now Cricut has added a recovery feature. It's not foolproof. It doesn't always work. But you can see that now it's being really weird and not giving me a lot of options with the word mini. And all of a sudden it is. So just keep that in mind. Sometimes you just need to play with it. So I'm going to go ahead and stretch this out a little bit and see how much I like that. That looks kind of okay, but kind of weird. So what I might do is with the mini, I may just make it a little bit more in the center than the mama one. It's just a matter of kind of playing with it and figuring out what you like and how you like it. So if we've got this where we want it, what we can do is select the square and the word, and then all I'm going to do is align them, and then I want to just do a center horizontal. I'm going to do the same thing with the mama one. I'm going to align it, and I want to center it horizontally. That way it's centered within our square. Now what I'm going to do is select the mini, and I want to just go ahead and attach. That's just going to keep everything in place when we click make it. And I'm going to do the same with mama, and I'm going to go ahead and attach it. So once those are done, we can actually add whatever we want around these. So if you wanted to do flowers, you could do flowers. If you wanted to do animal print, you can do animal print. But I want to do a leopard print. So let's go ahead and see if we can find one in Design Space. So all I did was typed in leopard, and it brought me up a bunch of different leopards, but then there's also some images that I uploaded myself, as well as some free images if you have Design Space access. Now you can get my SVG for leopard print on my website, CorinneBlackstone.com, but for this one, let's just go ahead and use this leopard print. I think it'll work just fine. So what I'm going to do is click Add to Canvas. Now, you are going to kind of need to know about how large your cup truly is, both kind of height and around, but this is where you sort of just guess. You don't have to be exact because of the way we're going to lay these leopard print spots on. So I know that my cup is right around, for the 16 ounce, about 4¼ inches tall, and I would say around it probably is going to be And this one is sort of where you're going to maybe use the ribbon theory to measure this. Or what you can always do is use a measuring tape. That works really well too. But I usually think that it's about 9 inches. And the larger cup is about the same diameter, but that one's going to be about 6 inches tall. So what I like to do is just sort of kind of guesstimate on height and a round size. And from there, we just kind of make sure we have enough leopard print to go around. So you can resize this if you would like to, or you can just duplicate this. I think the height is pretty good, and because the way we're going to lay this, it doesn't necessarily matter if we have an exact height and width. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this a couple of times so that we have enough leopard print to go around all of our cup. Now, I do want to make sure that everything is cut out in the same color. So the first thing that I'm going to do is go up to my color sync right here, and you'll see that you can drag and drop the little leopard print images into the same line as the mama and the mini. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. That way everything is the exact same color and it's going to cut on the same color vinyl. Now we are going to be using some teckwrap vinyl, and I will link it down below. It is a really nice vinyl, and it's this really pretty green holographic color, and I think it's going to work really well and look super cool for this really fun mama and mini cuts. Now I will say with this vinyl, I did have to create a custom setting, so I'll show you that really quick. If you ever need to make a custom setting, go up into your settings, click Manage Custom Materials, and you want to select the Cricut that you're going to be using. So in this case, I'm using my Maker 3. And it may take it a second because it does need to connect to your machine in order to bring up your custom materials settings. Once it has connected, you can scroll through and look at all the different settings that you have. Now, if you made a custom material setting on another machine, it doesn't translate over to your new machine, so it's kind of a pain, but it's really easy to make a new setting. You just have to remember the settings that maybe you used on your other machine. So let's scroll all the way down to the bottom, and we're going to click Add New Material. I'm going to call this teckwrap holographic because that's what it goes to, so we're just going to call it teckwrap hollow. Go ahead and click Save. It'll scroll you back up to the alphabetical order spot where this is going to be, and then this is where you can set your settings. So if you know that it's not cutting on the vinyl setting, what you can do is kind of scroll down here and look at vinyl set at 126. That's a little bit too light for this vinyl. It didn't work. 175 was pretty good, but I make mine about 180, 185. I'm going to leave the just as a single cut and use the fine point blade. Then all you have to do is click Save. Now you have a custom setting for when we go to click Make It. So go all the way back up to the top or the bottom of the list. It doesn't matter which way you go. And just close the list because you're done with that part. Now all we have to do is click Make It. Now I am using the Maker 3, so it is going to ask me whether I want to cut on or off matte. Because I'm using a non-smart vinyl product, I am going to cut on matte. So I'm going to go ahead and tell it on matte for any material and click Done. Now with this one, you can see the way it's setting up everything to cut. It looks pretty good, but I am going to move the mama and the mini over a little bit so that I have a little bit more space here. That way I'm not kind of stuck with, it too close. Another thing that you can always do is move things around to save yourself some vinyl. But I think on this one, I'm just going to leave it as is. It's going to cut pretty well. But another option is if you want to use your longer mat, which we can do, you can actually tell this your material size. So I have material that is 12 by 24. So I can actually cut this all on one sheet, which we are going to go ahead and do that because I think it'll be a little bit easier. But again, I'm just going to move my mama and my mini over a little bit so it's not right with my leopard print. So if you wanted to cut your leopard print, on a different sheet, you could do that. It's really up to you, but I'm just going to cut it on the 12 by 24 mat. It'll be a lot easier. So from here, all we have to do is click Continue, and it's going to connect to our machine. Now again, we're going to use that custom settings, so I'm going to show you how easy it is to find that. All you'll need to do is go to your Browse All Materials, and you can simply search. So we know that we called it teckwrap, so I'm just going to search for tech. And you can find here the teckwrap hollow setting. Go ahead and click that and select Done. Now we're ready to load the machine with the vinyl, and then we can apply it to the cups. This is the vinyl we're going to use. I just have it held closed with a snap bracelet. These are awesome. I'll link them below. They're great for holding closed your rolls of vinyl because they don't crease them and they don't leave residue. And the teckwrap vinyl really likes to unroll, so I like to keep it kind of held down. So what I'm going to do is actually use my machine to help me put my roll onto my mat. So what I'm going to do is lay my roll down. Now this one does tend to get some wrinkling in it, so we'll fix that as we go. So what I'm going to do is just kind of pull my mat out from under my machine. Now I can see here that we're getting a lot of off-centeredness. So what I'm going to do, because obviously I can tell that it's not sitting straight at the top, that's fine. I probably cut it unevenly the last time I cut, so that's fine. Now I am going to cut this off a little bit because there is a protective coating on here. So this is we only need about 17 inches of this vinyl. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this down, and a lot of the wrinkling you're seeing, see how it's kind of, I don't know if you guys can see that real well, there's a white or a clear protective coating on this. So I'm going to grab an X-Acto knife, or, forgot I have this awesome control cutter. So what I'm going to do is just kind of find where 17 is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So I'm going to cut right about here just to give me some extra space. So this contour cutter is great for this. All you do is just sort of slide it down your vinyl and you can cut right across. So once I've done that, I'm going to peel off the protective coating. It just helps it from getting scratched when you're storing your vinyl. So what you'll do is come up to the top and just pull it off. So you'll see all that wrinkling is pretty much gone. Now you do want to be gentle and not scratch, but you do want to make sure that you have this well pressed down. So I'm just going to kind of press it with my hands. I wouldn't recommend using a squeegee on this, but maybe a soft brayer would be okay. So I just want to make sure this is held well down. And a lot of the wrinkling that you're seeing on this is actually the mat, because the mat is pretty not smooth. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is load our mat. And you just want to make sure that you've loaded it nice and gentle. And then we'll wait for it to measure. So make sure the back of your machine is fully clear of anything that might get in the way of it measuring your mat. And then it's going to ask me to press the go button. Once we've pressed the go button, we're going to be able to cut our vinyl. Once it's done cutting, we'll go ahead and unload, and then I'm going to slide the machine out of the way. Now this is a pretty big piece of vinyl, so you will want to be careful. Now again, you could go in and take your contour cutter and cut this edge off before you take it off, or you can just wait and do it once you have it off. So it's up to you. But what I'm going to show you is flip over your mat. This is super important. Flip over your mat, and then you want to roll your mat backwards. Now don't roll it so it's like completely like flat, you'll crack it. But roll it backwards a little bit, and then take your hand and gently help the vinyl come off of the mat. The reason that we're doing this is because if you were to try to take your vinyl from your mat, you're going to end up with a really rolly piece of vinyl, and we don't want this vinyl rolled up. So our mat is all done. I'm going to go ahead and put that over to the side. Now I like to save these scraps of vinyl, these edges, just because I can make other things with them. So I'm going to go ahead and trim off this, because this is probably one of my favorite vinyl colors. It's so pretty, so I do like to try to save it, and I like to use my scraps for lots of things. So we'll go ahead and just trim this off, and then I'm going to go ahead and get this weeded, and then we can apply this to our cup. Be using some medium tack transfer tape, and I'm going to go ahead and place my mini and my mama design down first. So all I'm going to do is just trim this off, and this little extra chunk of transfer tape I will just put on the side of my desk to use for later. That's the great thing about this transfer tape, it is reusable, but I am going to just use this small piece right here for the mama and the mini portion. Now I do recommend having a squeegee. And I do recommend a rubber squeegee. These are really the best. And what we're going to do is just burnish this down. We'll burnish both of them down. And then I'm going to go ahead and peel this off of my table. I'm going to cut them apart so that I only have one of each on my transfer tape and burnishing it from the back. Now I did wipe these down with some alcohol. I've just been using these little sanitizing alcohol wipes. They work great. They are 70% or 75% alcohol. They work perfectly. Got them really inexpensive, but you can just use the alcohol in a bottle and like a little coffee filter so that there's no like lint. So all I'm going to do is peel my backing from my vinyl, and you want to go slow just to make sure everything stays on your transfer tape. And I'm sorry, I love the back of this vinyl too. It's so pretty. So I have a little cup holder. This is awesome. This is a little cup holder from Chipped Builds. It's great. It holds these cups perfectly and it keeps them from rolling around your table. Now all you're going to want to do is line up your design wherever you want it to go on your cup. Try to keep it straight. And then all I'm going to do is burnish it down. I press it down with my hand first, and then I come in with my squeegee. I use my hand first just to kind of make sure that there aren't any wrinkles or anything like that, because sometimes putting vinyl on a cup, especially a rounded surface like this or arched surface, can be a little difficult. Now what you're going to do is take your transfer tape and just gently peel it off. Now you do want to go pretty gentle just to make sure that everything stays stuck down. And you can see that I'm peeling it at a really sharp angle. Do you see how I have it folded over completely in half? That is how you're going to want to do this, because see how the M kind of came up? That's to be expected. That's why we do recommend letting your cups and your designs sit for about 24 to 48 hours. I usually try to go closer to 72 to allow the vinyl to cure. I can see that my square over here is lifting. So what I'm going to do is just take my squeegee and I'm just going to burnish this down a little bit under the transfer tape here where the transfer tape is still sticking. And what I'm going to do is, instead of peeling from the down angle for that, oh no, my M, see, this is what will happen sometimes. So you see how the M kind of popped up? That's okay. What we'll do is we'll just help it along with our finger, make sure it stays down. And again, this is to be expected. It's not going to necessarily stick right away. That's why you want to give it that cure time, just to allow it to make sure that it has all the time in the world to let that adhesive really cure. And we're going to come through and press this down again with our finger just to make sure that everything is going to stay down. But again, this is why I do highly recommend that cure time. So I do have a little bit of a lift right there. So there you go. There is the mama part. So cute. I love this green against this pink. It's super fun. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly do the mini one next. Now the mini is really small, but it does still fit inside the little cup holder. It works really, really well. So I'm just going to do the same thing, and then we'll come back and I'll show you guys how we're going to put on the leopard print. Now that we've put those down, our next step is to work on our leopard print. Now, like I said, if you can't make a full wrap or you don't have a full wrap, this is a really easy way to do this. So I have this full sheet of leopard print. Now we probably have plenty to do both cups. We may even have a little extra that we could use on something else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my transfer tape and I'm going to unroll it. And I'm just going to unroll a small amount because I don't really want to unroll a ton, because this can be kind of like, you can get bubbles in it pretty easy. So what I'm going to do is set my vinyl down, and I'm just going to press it down as we unroll. So kind of like how we would do this if we were doing an application. And I'm sorry that that transfer tape is making like an awful noise. Now I do have a wrinkle there, but that's okay. We can work with it. Now I will say that I definitely didn't get this straight, but that's okay because I'm going to show you guys a really quick trick. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this all the way down. And you'll see that I definitely did not get this straight in the least bit. That's okay. It doesn't really matter as long as we have most of it on. And like I said, if there's a couple little wrinkles in this, it's totally okay because we're not actually going to be using the exact pattern that we have here. So I'm going to go ahead and burnish down a section. I'm just going to start with this section here at this end, and I'm just gonna burnish it down. Now there is a seam that I can cut along so that I'm not working with such a large piece, but you can totally just cut little pieces off, whatever you wanna do. I'm just gonna cut down the seam here from our pattern. Perfect, okay. Once I've cut down that seam, all I wanna do is I'm gonna go ahead and burnish this down again. I'm gonna grab, let's start with the mini. We'll start with our mini cup. So what I want to do is I'm just going to kind of pick spots and lay them onto my cup. So what I like to do personally, because it's a little easier for me, but you can lay them down however works for you, is I like to cut sections like this, and then I will just peel those off and stick them onto my cup wherever I think that they should go. So that's what I like doing when it comes to like an animal pattern. I think it's a really fun way to use an animal pattern because there's no right or wrong way. Animals, obviously nature, so they're very, very different. So it doesn't have to match exactly, especially between the two cups. So all I'm gonna do is just peel that transfer tape off. And voila. So what we'll do is we'll go all the way around the cup, just sort of placing our design wherever we want to, whatever works. And you'll see here, like if I were to do this part, it's too big to go above where it says mini. So what you can do is just find pieces and parts that stick and fit there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and finish up the mini cup. And we'll do the same thing to the mama cup, and we're gonna do this all the way around the top and the bottom of our cup, and then we will be all finished. So here's the finished mini cup, and you can see all I did was just cut up the leopard print design, and instead of trying to wrap the whole cup, I just kind of made my own pattern, and it doesn't look like I didn't use a full wrap. This is just a really great way that you can kind of shortcut that wrapping process. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish the mama cup so that it matches, and then I'll show you everything all finished. Here are the finished cups. I absolutely love how this came out. I put the one on the spinner so that you could really see how holographic and beautiful the tech wrap vinyl is. These cups are so bright and colorful, so I put the other ones up so that you guys could see them. They're super fun. They come in lots of great color choices. And remember that you can shop at arielstrove.com for these. I will put a coupon code and a link down in the video description for you guys as well so that you can shop her website. Again, these are the 80s vibes, and this is the Mommy and Me set. And I'm so excited how these came out. As you can see, you can do your own cup wrap without really needing to make a cup wrap. Just find a fun pattern that you want to do and place it all over your cup. You can see how fun and easy this was, and I truly had such a good time making these little cups. They were really easy to work with and fun, and all the colors are so great. If you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below. Let me know which of these cups is your favorite color. I'm obviously a pink fan, but that purple's really gorgeous too. I hope you guys have a wonderful day and happy crafting!